everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we are doing another Hour of Devastation, Amonkhet Intermediate Swiss Draft League. Okay, the rare is Ketra's Last Mercy. We're not going to take that. I like the Chefette Dunes. It's a good card. Buff team. I think we're looking at probably Unquenchable Thirst as our first pick, because it's 2-drop removal spell. I've found it to be pretty good for the most part in the format. Deserts are usually pretty desirable to get anyway. I like the cycle deserts. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable running a 17 land deck if I have like 2 to 3 cycle deserts probably. So there's also Dauntless Haven in here, which is a solid first pick, I would say. This card's pretty impressive. I think in the red-white deck especially, well, I guess green-white too. You have a lot of the exert creatures, and this just is pretty exceptional for that. But Unquenchable Thirst has impressed me quite a bit, so I'm going to take it. Okay, well, we can take Riddle form and perhaps attempt to pursue some sort of red-blue spells deck. It is pretty specific for that deck, though. I mean, there's not a lot of other places you can run it. We have Ambuscade, which is pretty premium removal. We have Puncturing Blow, which is more in line with the red-blue spells deck. Remember, Unquenchable Thirst does activate Riddle form as well. So I could actually just take Riddle form here and presume that we start actively pursuing the red-blue spells deck. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, remember, Unquenchable Thirst hits your prowess effects, too. Now, it doesn't work well with your Warfire Javelineers, your Enigma Drakes out of pack 3, but it does work really well with the Hour of Devastation cards. Let's just take the Riddle form. Sinuous Striker is very good too. This is a very strong card. Remember, it comes back too. There's an argument for that. And Ambuscade is very good, and Puncturing Blow is very good. We're gonna take the Riddle form though. I want to believe that I can make this deck work. Like now, we can take the Firebrand Archer, start actively pursuing this deck. There's also the Spellweaver Eternal, which is on color with this, but I don't know. After getting just swiftly defeated by that red-blue tempo deck, I'm kind of tempted to take the Firebrand Archer and let's actively pursue this red-blue spells deck, shall we? I mean, this card has got to be very good in that deck. So we'll take it over the Eternal here, even though the Eternal is obviously very good in this deck too. I'm going to be a little more risky this draft and see if we can just make this red-blue deck come together. Okay, we can take Tragic Lesson. This is more for a cycling deck. There's a Desert in here. Crash Through, which is a spell that cantrips, which isn't bad. Probably want to take the Tragic Lesson, I guess. Gilded Ceradown's pretty good too. We'll take the Tragic Lesson, though, for now. It also turns on the Riddle form, potentially on your opponent's turn. Ooh, another Firebrand Archer. There's Blur Blades, there's Frontline Devastators, Tragic Lesson. We're going to take the Firebrand Archer. I think these are pretty premium in this deck. So Ketra's Avenger in here as well. But remember, for this draft, I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're just going to actively pursue an archetype that I want to play. If we see the optimum cards for it, really try and just piece this deck together to the best of our ability. So this is not the usual way I've been drafting this format for the last however many drafts I've done now. I'm just trying something different. So if you're saying, hey man, you really should have gone this direction, it's okay. I understand your criticism. I'm just trying to tell you ahead of time that I'm intentionally doing something different here to see how it goes and get a better feel for this format. I guess I could splash Farm to Market. It's a spell. I could play the market side, but I need to splash the farm side. The farm side is very good. There's Thorn Moloch, though, which is at least playable in this deck. I mean, this is where it's at its best in the blue-red thing, so I guess we'll take it. I guess Countervailing Winds is probably pretty good with Tragic Lesson. You can leave them both up, and this fills your graveyard reasonably well. Devastator now. I probably take over the Thorn Moloch. I think Devastator is a pretty awesome card. It's a 4-drop, though, and Moloch is 3. I think Devastator's a better card, but Moloch's better in this deck. We're going to need quite a few instants, though, if we really want to make this a late Ronus a Stalwart. If we really want this deck to come together, but Afflict is a powerful ability. I think we'll take the Devastator. I think it's a better card. Jeez, it's another late Ronus is Stalwart. Well, technically, Dagger of the Worthy is a card that triggers Firebrand Archer. It triggers Thorn Malik. It triggers Riddle Form. So we probably just want it. Cunning Survivor, not super exciting anyway. Could take the Gilded Ceradon. We don't have any deserts yet, but this card is good in that deck. I think we'll go Dagger, though. It's good with the Thorn Malik, actually. Okay, so we can take the Kindled Fury over the Defiant Kenra here. We're just looking for spells, and Defiant Kenra is not a particularly exciting card anyway. I like that this triggers for 1 mana. So nothing on color, some late playable black cards. Could it be blue getting cut? That would be strange. I think we take the Gift of Strength, because I saw some late green as well. Like here we take the Naga. I mean, I guess maybe blue's not going to happen. I'm actually a little surprised to not see blue going late. This is still, I would say, the least desirable color of this format would be blue, so a bit surprising to see it getting cut. Late green still, otherwise crash through to turn on Firebrand Archers and prowess randomly. It's a sorcery though, which makes it a little bit less good with the prowess. I mean, we're getting late playable green cards. Could be that we have to end up in green-red, but then the Firebrand Archers get a lot worse. It does appear that this plan of making red-blue work the way we want is not working so well. I mean, it's actually, I shouldn't say it's not working. I still have 9 cards for what I want to do. So actually, that's perfectly acceptable. Like all 9 of these red and blue, and I'm going to include the dagger in that. All 9 of these cards are just perfect for the archetype. So we're actually still well on our way to making the deck work, even if blue is getting cut. I'm going to let someone have saving grace because I don't want to end up in white based on the pool that we have thus far. Driven to Despair is good. Refused to Cooperate is probably playable. Here's a desert. We have Vizier with currently no Embalm though. Another Firebrand Archer. The Ipnu Revulet is just a... I'd take the desert over it for cycle purposes. We don't need it. It just turns on the Unquenchable Thirst, which is good, but Unquenchable Thirst still has a relevant ability regardless of whether you have a desert or not. Probably just take another Archer here. Let's just go super deep on Archers and see if we can make this work. Remember, Vizier is going to be good with the Embalm and Eternalize cards that you get, but I'm going to go actively pursue this deck. Take the Firebrand Archers. Okay, so we can take this. I think Burning Fist Minotaur is a pretty awesome card. Another Sinuous Striker too. Jeez. I might probably just take Puncturing Blow because I'm low on removal. I basically just have a Thirst and a Kindled Fury right now. So we'll take the Puncturing Blow because it kills things. Killing things is pretty essential and limited, especially when you can exile them. I do think Burning Fist Minotaur is an excellent card though. Very, very excellent. So there's Chandra's Defeat, which is a good sideboard card. Probably just take another Thirst. There's also Aerial Guide, but I'm going to take the Thirst number 2 here. Still hoping to find deserts at some point. Or just, like I said, still very playable with or without deserts, and they trigger everything in our deck regardless. So passing some pretty good cards here, but I'm going to take the removal. So Archer number 4, I'm kind of digging it. Let's just take all the Archers and get a bunch of spells and just nuke our opponent out. That could be interesting. So Frontline Devastator, Thorn Malik, Off-Color Desert, Off-Color Farm, another Dagger. Could take another Devastator, could take another Malik. Devastator's better. Have a couple 4-drops already. Surprisingly low on 3-drops. I think we'll take another Devastator. I like the Afflict quite a bit. I feel like Afflict is actually going to go really well with the Archers. You just get them to the point of inevitability. Alright, I'm going to take the Strategic Planning here. Helps mitigate some of the flood. Possibly gets some graveyard value for us. Potentially deserts if we find any. Remember, Pack 3 has deserts too. Apocalypse Demon still in here. So we'll take the Strategic Planning. Traveler's Amulet actually works in here too, just because you can totally turn on your stuff with it too, but we'll take the planning. I like it. I think it's good. Okay, so another Kindled Fury, which I wouldn't mind. The Tragic Lesson would. I think we have to go with the Scrapper. It's just a very premium 3-drop creature. Regardless of what archetype you're in, it just beats in very effectively. Kindled Fury, like I said, would totally be in here too. I think it's great with the Firebrand Archer. 3 power first strike that hits your opponent for 1 can be good in combat situations, but we're going to go Scrapper. Okay. So we could take Countervailing Winds. It actually works with Tragic Lesson potentially, and definitely with Strategic Planning. Otherwise, we could take Jace's Defeat, which is more of a sideboard card. It does Scry 2, though, which is nice, but you can only run it against blue decks. Gilded Ceradon would be good if we had any deserts, but we don't. So I think I'll take the Countervailing Winds. It also cycles. Yeah, we'll take it. It's a spell. So we can take the Refuse to Cooperate. I'm okay with that, actually. Let's try it out. You can potentially hit a 7-drop and be happy. Otherwise, I'm taking like a Traveler's Amulet. It's a rare. We'll try it. Another Countervailing Winds or the Proven Combatant. We'll take another Winds, I guess. Or the Crash Through, I guess. But we'll take Countervailing Winds. It does cycle. I think that's relevant. It's a late Frontline Devastator. We could take the Chandra's Defeat for sideboard. This is definitely a valuable card to have. I think I'm actually going to take it over these. Both of these are playable, and I would take the Devastator, I think, over the Ceradon based on the fact we have 0 deserts, but I think Chandra's Defeat is actually a very valuable sideboard card to have. Usually I wouldn't take a sideboard card over a card that I would definitely main deck, but I'm just confident that we're going to be able to find everything we need for our deck. We do need some more creatures. Not a ton more, but a few. So we'll pass all these actually pretty good white cards. Continue passing. Continue passing. Alright, so we have 19 out of probably... We basically need 5 cards out of pack 3. There's definitely some cards here I'd like to upgrade, but we probably only need like 12 or 13 creatures because we have a couple card draw effects in Strategic Planning and Tragic Lesson. But if I can upgrade the Countervailing Winds, if I can get rid of the Dagger of the Worthy, which I'd prefer not to play if possible. So we can take Tormenting Voice here. Scribe of the Mindful is good for getting back spells. There's Seeker of Insight, though, which is pretty valuable to have. And then there's Onward to Victory as well. No good removal. Probably take Seeker over Wheel, Tormenting Voice, Nimble Blade, Kenra, Scribe. Any of those are certainly wheelable. And I like the Seeker. I think it's good. It also works well with the Countervailing Winds. It's a sensible pick, I think. Soulscar Mage has got to be pretty optimal in a deck like this. Problem is we don't really have sources that deal damage other than Puncturing Blow, which is actually unfortunate. Yeah. Otherwise, there's Slitherblade, which is also... Well, I guess it's good with the Dagger. Hyena Pack, which isn't particularly exciting. Might just take a Desert here. We have the 2 Unquenchable Thirsts. I'm okay with it. Soulscar Mage is... It has prowess, I guess, but it's fairly mediocre. We'll take a... I think we'll take a Desert. This Desert's not great. Especially for us if we're 2-color. We only have 1 double color spell. But I guess it turns on the Thirst. Do I care that much about that? Maybe not. Maybe I'll just take the rare. Let's just take the Soulscar Mage, I guess. So we have Sure Shot now. Hieroglyphic Illumination might just be the pick, though. I like the card draw. We can cycle with it. Maybe Wheel of Cancel. I think Sure Shot's good, too. We'll take the Illumination, though. Brute Strength is definitely good. Flameblade Adept, and then Slitherblade as well. We'll take the Brute Strength. Can push some damage through with that. So now there's Sure Shot versus Initiate. Initiate lets us get through with our Firebrand Archers. Also Aven Initiate as well, which flies. Could be Scribe of the Mindful, which gets back Kindled Fury. Strategic Planning, Brute Strength, Tragic Lesson, Countervailing Winds, Puncturing Blow, Refuse to Cooperate, or I mean, there's certainly things we can bring back. This is the deck that wants Scribe of the Mindful. There's not like super powered cards to bring back though, which makes it a little bit less sexy. I think we'll still take it. Probably wheel another one anyway, but alright. I actually like Naga Oracle most of the time. There's a Sunscorched Desert too, but we'll take the Oracle. Well, Emberhorn Minotaur tends to win games, so we'll take that as well. I mean, you can look at this as kind of like that, because you can cycle it. I kind of prefer to not play the countervailing winds. They're certainly playable, but not exciting. Like, I'd be okay with something like this, probably. Still leaves us with 11 non-creature spells. Not bad. Well, Blood Rage Brawler this late is surprising. That card's always strong, so we'll probably take that and play it over maybe like a Dagger of the Worthy. Dagger makes our dudes a little better in combat, I guess, though. Did get the Nimble Blade dude back. Take him over a second Scribe, probably. Hyena Pack. Not going to play it. I guess we'll take Biforce for sideboard if I need it. Guess Cartouche of Zeal still works with the stuff in our deck. I just don't know if we're going to use it or not. So we're going to have to look over some things and make some decisions, but all in all, it's not. I think the deck is actually okay. We certainly have enough ways to win. I guess my issue is I wish I'd gotten more like burn style removal spells, but we have card advantage and we have some interesting spells that I want to try, so probably going to end up cutting a creature or two, maybe the Nimble Blade Kenra. Not that it's bad, but I guess Soulscar Mage is like a little more interesting. I wish we had more sources that dealt damage, though. To creatures, at least. Like, this is actually cool with Blazing Volley. That is cool, actually. Take the Slither Blade. We have the Dagger, but I don't think it's making the deck. Whatever, we can hate a Spidery Grasp. So we can easily play 16 lands in this deck. Question is, what are we cutting? And we can, like I said, probably end up running 13 creatures and being fine. Take the Hauler. Last pick Slitherblade, sure. So Slitherblade is good with the Dagger, but I don't think they're going to make the deck. I mean, they do get damage through every turn, which is kind of cool. I think easily we can cut the Nimbleblade Kenra. We don't need that one. Thorn Moloch is at its best in this deck, but still not like particularly exciting. Let's separate stuff out. So we have all these spells. This is kind of a creature too, actually, the Riddle form, so I think we can count that. Probably cut the Cartouche. Not that I dislike it, I just think it's an easy cut. Probably cut the Slither Blades. Might just cut this. I almost think it's worth cutting the Soulscar Mage over the Slither Blade, just because the only cards that we have that sources that deal damage to our opponent's creatures are Puncturing Blow, right? So it seems not worth it to play Soulscar Mage. If we had more burn spells, it would be. It's basically just a prowess card, which is good usually in a deck like this, but I think we'll cut it. And then, like I said, we probably just cut the Slither Blades, go to 14 creatures if you include the Riddle form, which I do. And that way we still have plenty of spells to kill our opponents with. And I'm kind of interested in Dagger because I like the fact that it could turn on a Riddle form, then you can equip it, or you can put it on a Thorn Moloch, get in for first strike prowess. It's good on a Scrapper. It's good on the Devastator. It's good on a lot of our cards. I actually don't know if Afflict stacks or not. I assume that it does. I don't know why it wouldn't. So I assume it turns this into an Afflict 3. I guess I could check real quick. Okay, so from what an orc said, like if I equipped a Dagger of the Worthy on a frontline Devastator, both would trigger. So both the Afflict on Devastator and the Afflict on Dagger of the Worthy would trigger, which means they do sort of stack up in that respect. So that's cool. All right, interesting little deck here. Quad Firebrand Archer. I wish, like I said, I wish we had much better removal. We basically have Kindled Fury, Brute Strength, Double Unquenchable Thirst, Puncturing Blow, and that's it. So removal light, but Firebrand Archers, I mean, I like that I can put pressure on my opponent without actually, doing anything to them, basically. Scribe of the Mindful's a bit underwhelming because we don't have super bomb spells to bring back, but we can get back like a brute strength and puncturing blow. I guess is the best one we can get back, or maybe the refuse to cooperate. I don't know, but it's nice to like leave up instants like hieroglyphic illumination or tragic lesson, and be able to leave up refuse. So we might be able to let's try lava axing our opponent with that. And we actually have good card draw in here, which helps too, I think. So more red than blue, we'll probably just end up doing 9/7, which they agree with. I think that's about right. I think 9/7 is fine. So 9/7 red blue spells. We'll see how this little brew comes together for us. Interesting little deck. We'll see you round one.